Okay, let's roll right into our post-race for today's 15th annual Sylvania 300. Second race in the 2011 chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. We're joined up front by our second and third place finishers. Runner-up in today's race is the driver of the number 2 Miller Lite Dodge, Brad Keselowski. He also moves up to third in points currently. And our third place finisher is Greg Biffle. He drives the number 16 Ford 40 MPG.com Ford for Roush Fenway. First, I'll go to you, Brad. Talk about another strong performance for the number 2 Miller Lite Dodge. You're inching your way up now. You're third in points. You started the chase in 11th. So just talk about how this race team continues to progress.
Yeah, well, you know, it's funny because 10 races ago, we left Loudon here 23rd in points. Who would ever thought we'd be third in 10 weeks? So I'd like to see some kind of stat for that, that's for sure. But it's been a good road here to travel down the last few weeks, and today was no exception. We weren't the fastest car. I think I'd be lying if I tried to tell you we were. But we made good adjustments to our car, got to where it was a solid top 10 car, and drove up to 4th or 5th there with about 100 to go, 80 to go, whatever that was, right in there, right in that range. But that's what you need to do. You need to make good adjustments on your car, and we're clicking on that, Paul and I, and working really hard on this. Still got a long ways to go on a lot of different things, but proud of the finish we were able to get today, and proud of the effort for sure. And we did get a little bit of help from the fuel mileage, but hell, we were going to have a 4th or 5th place day, and instead we had a 2nd place day. So all in all, I felt like we earned the majority of our good fortune. So decent day, and exactly what we need to do in this chase. Keep plugging away with finishes like this.
Thanks, Brad. And Greg Biffle, heard you on the interview after the race just talk about, you said that, for once you had a finish that, as well as you ran throughout the day, and so congratulations on that.
Yeah, thanks. It was a great day for us. We've had a lot of good days this season. That's not a lot of good finishes, so it felt good to finish where we'd run all day. I think the worst we had been on the racetrack was 7th or 8th. I think maybe 6th. I think 6th was probably the worst I was ever lined up. So, we ran from 2nd to 6th all day and just stayed there and wished that, it wasn't a fuel mileage race. I think we had a fast enough car to catch the 33 and 14 possibly and race with them. But really excited about, top 3 finish.
Okay, we'll take some questions now. We'll start out here with Ed. Go ahead.
Ed Hinton, ESPN.com. Obviously, both of you were helped somewhat by the fuel mileage. Do y'all think maybe this was a fuel mileage race that sort of shouldn't have turned out that way, in that the 24 car might have had everybody so covered? Did that car look like it was the dominant car to both of you, to either of you, before they had their foul up on their last green flag stop?
Yeah, I'll let Greg answer because I never saw 24 all day.
I really don't know, because we were catching the 24 about 1/10 and a half a lap for that last green run, 2/10 a lap. And I don't think he was saving fuel at that point. I don't know. The 33 and the 14 were out there, so we were running them down. I got within probably 15 car lengths of him, and then he just plug checked it, put it in neutral, and moved over and just started saving gas all of a sudden, and was pretty apparent when he did. So, he did have a good car. I don't know if the 33 and 14 could have ran with him, but I think all of us in the right position, about the top 3 or 4 of us, were probably pretty dang equal. But I'd say the 24 was fast at the beginning and middle part of the race, but I don't know about at the end. Like I said, that last run I was catching him, and then he just pulled over and started saving massive amount of gas.
Let's go up to the press box, and we'll come back to Don. Go ahead, press box.
Lee Spencer, Fox Sports. Greg, can you talk a little bit about, you said something over the radio, and I get the feeling that even though you're not in the chase, it's going to be a take no prisoners. You're out there to win, and you're going to do whatever it takes to do that. Secondly, Tony Stewart's the first guy since you won the first 2 races in the chase in 2008. Can you talk about what kind of a momentum builder that is for him?
Well, I mean, it's certainly a hell of a momentum builder to come and win the first 2 races of the chase. Like you said, we were able to do it a few years back, and it just means so much to your team and gives you so much confidence going into all the races, the next races. So, it was great for for us, and I'm sure that it's good for that team, and they'll continue to probably put down some good races.
Let's come back downstairs. Go ahead, Don.
This is Don Coble from Morse News Service. For both of you, yesterday in the final practice session, everybody was working on fuel mileage stuff. Has this fuel mileage and track position, has this evolved into being something that's kind of gotten out of, I don't want to say out of hand, but it's become too prominent, too important all of a sudden? It seems like every race is coming down to this.
Yeah, it's funny how every race kind of comes down to it. But if you just take a little snapshot of our season, people think that fuel mileage race is the last run of the day. It sets up, you're going to be 3 laps short or 4 laps short. But for us, we've had the new engine, and we've struggled a little bit with fuel mileage as a group this year. And what happens to us is, on that green run, anytime you have a green flag pit stop cycle, no matter what racetrack you're at, that turns into a fuel mileage run. Because we have to stop 3 or 4 laps short of the field, and then the caution comes out, and you're a lap down. So, that happened to us, I don't know how many times this year. We were running second at Michigan. Pitt came out, we're a lap down, took the wave around with 35 laps to go or something. So, just killed us. We had to start 25th and got back to like 15th. So, fuel mileage for us has been a big hurdle this year. We've gotten really good here at the end of the season. But, really, truly every race is a fuel mileage race if it has a green flag pit stop in it. Because who can go the furthest? And if the caution comes out at that particular moment, it can trap, certain guys. I look at the scoreboard, David Reagan's second. It shuffles the deck when that happens.
Brad, you have a
I
comment?
just think every race has its own personality, and with this particular car and the way it's designed, it's going to lean towards this personality a little bit more. So, I don't know. It doesn't bother me. I don't think it's bad racing personally. I know there's people that do. I think for the most part, the fastest car still ends up winning the race. Not always, but for the most part, I think if you looked at the odds on, how many fuel mileage races there's been, I would say over 50% the fastest car still wins the race. But both Tony and Jeff were fast. Tony ended up winning it. You could have probably made a case for either one of those two being the best car, but that's just not the way it played out. So I don't know. I try not to read too much, and I know there's been a lot of people talking about fuel mileage racing, dominating the sport or being bad for it, but I still think there's been a lot of races that haven't been decided on fuel mileage. So no, I guess it just doesn't seem like that big of a deal to me.
As a quick follow-up to both of you, both have won fuel mileage races. And I know this sounds silly, but do you treat any of those wins any less than the wins when you're able to blow people away?
Well, sometimes, you can chalk it up to a fuel mileage win, and sometimes you're leading and it comes to stretching it and you just make it. Kind of like sort of what the 14 did today. Now there's been true fuel mileage races where a guy is running at the back of the pack, ducks in the pits with 1 to go, fills it up, and that guy wins. That's a fuel mileage win. When you're a 20th place car and you win, but when you're a top 3 car or 4 car and you win, really isn't any different. And so like I won at Daytona, which could have been a fuel mileage run, but really it wasn't because there was about 15 cars on the same pit cycle we were. So we were set up. And Kansas, I was leading the thing. I had, I don't know how many second lead, 10-second lead or something when the caution came out and it was too dark to go back green again. So, it just all depends on where you're running.
You're not going to give any of your trophies back?
No. I've only got one, and I'm not giving it back.
Go ahead, Jim.
Jim Unterstrahl, Observer for Brad. Over these next 8 races, you're third in points. Could you kind of assess what you think the rest of the season would look like based on whether you think a lot of it is strategy or fastest car wins, either case?
Well, coming into this race, I guess this morning, I would have said I was really, really nervous about this one. And knowing that we've struggled at the Richmonds and so forth, the other short tracks of this nature, you could say we won Bristol, but I would say it's, a lot different short track than a Loudon or a Richmond or whatever. And it's this style of track that we've really, really struggled on. So I was very nervous about this race, but I feel like, our best races in the chase are going to be our last 5 or 6 races, to be quite honest, with maybe the exception of Texas. And we'll have to see how that one goes. But, so to me, if we get to these first 4 or 5, I think we've got a really good shot at it. So to get through Chicago with a 5th and here a 2nd today, it's a huge booster of morale for my team and momentum for Penske Racing. And I just hope that we can continue to capitalize. And I think that's why we're where we're at. We've been able to capitalize with good execution on pit road and good adjustments on our car and not getting caught up in somebody else's mess. But that stuff can go the other way just as easily as it's gone the right way for us over the last few weeks. So I'm still very proud of what we've done, but we still have a long ways to go. A really long ways. There's 8 big races left. So. And then, of course, you can throw in Talladega, and I don't think anybody can tell you what's going to happen there. So,
a stat on today's race, 15 different leaders today. It ties a track record originally set July 14, 1996. Let's go back up to the press box for a question. Go ahead.
Lee Spencer again. Greg was trying to get a follow-up on your how you look at the chase and as far as what your role is as a non-chase driver. I didn't get you to answer the first part of that question. Also, can you talk about your relationship with your new crew chief and how that's evolved?
My role is being a non-chase guy is to try and win the last 8 that are left. And as far as Matt and I get along really, really well. I think he does a great job getting the cars prepared, makes really, really smart calls. He's calm. He knows what he wants to do. He's got it, decision made when the time comes. He's going to be a really good crew chief, and we're going to win a lot of races together. Pretty confident.
Go ahead. Let's stay upstairs real quick. Any other questions in the press box? Okay, let's come back downstairs. Go ahead, sir.
Brad, it's Julian from the Boston Globe. You had touched on it earlier, but just kind of the irony of where you were the last time you were at this track and then kind of where you are now. Can you talk about that? And then the turnaround, and obviously kind of people thinking that you're a sleeper. And then the second question was, you said you made some adjustment in this track and giving you some trouble. Just kind of what kind of things did you guys kind of tweak there?
Well, yeah, it's like I said, it's been a great turnaround. We're 20 positions better in points than we were 10 weeks ago when we were here, or at least when we left. So that's pretty cool, I think. But it's been a turnaround because of hard work and focus, and I'm very appreciative for my team for that. And this particular weekend, compared to the last time we were here, is no different. We focused on what I needed to do better, and I thought that I could do a lot better job and hit on some things, and I felt like the car could be a lot better. And we might have got a little bit better, and we certainly made some adjustments in the race that made us a lot better. So it takes all those things to get better and to get a result like what we got today. And as a team, that's what it means to be performing at a high level. It's to hit those things, and my team's doing that.
Other questions downstairs? We clear upstairs? I think we're clear. Okay, Brad and Greg, thank you for a great show today. Congratulations. Good luck. Good job, Brad.